All right, family. So today we're going to be looking at a story of an Oklahoma trans teen or trans student who has sadly passed away after, being injured in a physical altercation. So the teen that we're talking about today is Nex Benedict, basically a 16-year-old trans student at Owusa High School in Oklahoma. Basically, for the past, school year or just starting the school year, they've been bullied and bullied and bullied, especially after Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt signed a bill requiring public school students to use bathrooms that match their sex listed on their birth certificates. And just a few weeks ago, on February 7th, the bullying allegedly erupted into a violent altercation where Nick's neck suffered several head injuries during that altercation at Owusa High School, according to the police department there. Next allegedly told her that they and another trans student at Owusa High School had been in a fight with three older girls in a girl's bathroom. Next was knocked to the ground during the fight and hit their head on the floor, according to their mother. As well as the key part of this issue or this case is that Ms. Benedict said she was furious that the school had failed to call an ambulance or police and failed to report the incident to such authorities, as well as they informed Nex was being suspended for 2 weeks. She later took Nex to Bailey Medical Center in Owusa for treatment. They spoke to a police resource officer at the medical facility and they were briefly released. But on the next day, February 8th, Nex was going to get ready to go to Tulsa with Miss Benedict for an appointment, and they sadly collapsed in the family living room. Miss Benedict tried to call the ambulance EMT, but Nex was unfortunately declared unalive that same evening. Now here's a picture of Nex, and just really before I go into the cold anti-rhetoric thing against, LGBTQIA plus individuals, as well as bathroom laws and, all-inclusive sex education, a kid was unalive by another kid. Let's just get that straight. And no matter what side of the issue you are when it comes to trans individuals or what side of the spectrum you are on, a crime was committed and it's just somebody got to be held responsible for it. Like, especially kids got to be held responsible for it, and just like school officials, because at the end of the day, if you're not going to report the assault to the police, like the bare minimum you need to do is actually get an ambulance to the kid and make sure they're okay, get medical treatment. Like, that is the bare minimum thing that you need to do. And it's just like, it's sad the fact that the grandma had to actually take them to the hospital after the fact because they didn't do their jobs doing it. So at the very least, not only should criminal charges be filed onto like the actual people who did the attack, but also to the point of just like them school administrators. Like, that is like a very big failed like part on their end. Now, one big thing about this case is that many LGBTQIA plus advocacy groups have called Nexus like unaliving a hate crime, as well as linked it to the hateful rhetoric spewed by leaders in our state, and from the lives of TikTok account run by far-right social media influencer Shire Rashik. Now, basically going across an investigation by NBC, there has been at least 21 bomb threats that was, linked to the lives of TikTok, postings and all that. Last March, police in Kerrville, Iowa investigated a bomb threat targeting a junior high school. Law enforcement quickly determined that the threat was a hoax, but they continued to try and find a theory behind this. And the theory that they arrived to was that it appears this all stems from a post made earlier this week by Shia Rashik and her Lives a TikTok account. Now, basically, this is a posted from their account of the day before in question, and this is them saying that the high school offered the pornographic book. This book is gay to students. The book teaches kids about gay sex and encourages use of sex apps. These are books they are giving out to your kids to read. Now, just looking at these images out of context, they look very incredibly bad, but as you know, you can very much doctor a lot of things on the internet. Like this bottom image right here, it could be like a warning about how sex apps work and how much you need to be careful of them, and you just have this little snippet of it. So I'm not really gonna comment whether or not this is like a bad book or like a not bad book to read. I don't have the book on me, but I will say that the libs of TikTok really were trying to drum up some type of reaction with these, images, because obviously you take images out of context or you don't give the full, details behind the whole book or whatever. Just put these bad looking images right here, and then you just say like, oh, they're indoctrinating our kids. Like, it's gonna drum up a lot of like reaction in America. And whether or not they intended for someone to have a bomb threat at the school, is just one of those things where it's just like they probably didn't intend for that to happen, but it's just like you can see how you go from TikToks to now having, you know, a whole school evacuated because now you want to get some clout off of, you know, people outraged. Now, the reason why this context is important to this case is that an Owosa high school teacher who Nex had greatly admired resigned in 2022 after they were featured in one of Mrs. Rorschach's posts. So here's a TikTok in question that was in 2022.
Limits on sex education in schools. Fox 23 Scott Martin explains.
Hey, if your parents don't love and accept you for who you are this Christmas, I'm your parents now. I'm proud of you.
This viral TikTok has been viewed more than 200,000 times.
From this perspective, I don't think it's not too terrible. I mean, as a teacher, you shouldn't be posting like inflammatory comments on the web. I mean, that's the goal for any profession. Be careful what you post on social media. But from at least what they've said, I mean, it's nothing too wild. I mean, it's just your one-in-the-mill, just like TikTok rant. But basically, going in specifically about this incident really sparked a backlash in the small Oklahoma City town of 40,000, and Mr. Warren had to resign from Owosa public school systems because of the incident. Nex was very angry about it. I think they had a close relationship. You know, a lot of parents, you know, when I was doing research for the video, saw Mr. Warren as a safe haven for LGBTQIA plus youth. But continuing down the story, basically the Libs of TikTok has also been notorious for editing videos critical of a public school library in Tulsa that led to several consecutive days of bomb threats to the schools in the district. Ms. Rorschach's anti-LGBTQ posts have been linked to nearly 36 bomb threats, as the article has stated, towards schools, libraries, hospitals, and businesses across 16 states. And last month, Oklahoma's Republican Superintendent of Public Schools, Ryan Walters, actually appointed Ms. Rorschach to the state's Library Advisory Committee. Just one thing to note about Rorschach herself, she is a New York-based former real estate agent, and she got put onto a advisory board for the state of Oklahoma. So go figure, you know, the reason why. I ain't gonna say it here, but you know why. But Mr. Walters has not commented publicly on Nex's unaliving. He put out a video of on X on President's Day decrying radical woke college professors. But at the end of the day, Freedom Oklahoma, an LGBTQ advocacy group, blamed Oklahoma and lawmakers and Mrs. Rorschach for promoting bigotry and intolerance towards trans students after Nex's unaliving, as well as the fact that we want to be clear whether Nex unaliving was a direct result of injuries sustained in the brutal hate motivated attack or school or not. Basically, their unaliving is a result of being a target of physical emotional harm because of who Nex was. And I really do agree with that, because at the end of the day, Libs of TikToks, their main goal is to excite anger and frustration against specific issues, and those issues are, you know, LGBTQIA plus or inclusivity laws that include individuals from that community. And whether or not you are with the bathroom issue, whether or not you agree with bathrooms, whether or not you agree with all inclusive, you know, sex education in schools and all that, this shouldn't be tolerated. And still going down the list of comments about, you know, their quotations of illegal migrants, as well as the Lakewood Church unaliver was transgender. You understand this is a run-of-the-mill, you know, conservative rights platform that is just trying to get clicks and clout off of just like the whole, you know, culture wars that's going on right now. Youth was unalive due to, you know, them being who they are, if the allegations are true, whatever like the grandma has alleged, as this being a targeted attack. And at the forefront of it, the Libs of TikTok, they're not inherently responsible of this attack or, you know, of, you know, anybody actions who may listen to their posts, but they are responsible inciting a culture as well as an environment that allowed this stuff to really just fester into this. And so at the end of the day, there needs to be some type of responsibility of it. I don't know if it needs to be a lawsuit. I don't know if there needs to be a, you know, actual criminal case against them. You know, it's just I don't know what to do with in this case. I'm not really experienced in legal matters, but my main thing is just like, this is an incident that we need to really follow up more on, because this is going to happen more and more as they gain more and more clout. But with that being said, thank you for watching Pop Health today. If you like what you see, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, all that one for good stuff. Go see my next video right here, as well as you have a great day. Stay warm, stay frosty, depending on what part of the country you're in, and peace out.